Hey guys, let's take a look at the MPC Haunted Hulk. Now, 1963 is marked on the sale, which I will show you. Multiple products, 1963. And I'm almost certain that this green hull is was bought in 1964 for me by my mom. That hull and those monsters are the only part of the Haunted Hulk that survived from my childhood. I was 5 years old. I thought it was great at the time, but you know how it goes. I mean, I had 4 or 5 big corrugated cardboard boxes that were full of toys of all sorts, and everything got tossed around, and I don't know whatever happened to the original sale with the stickers on it, or the spider web rigging, or the skull standard, or the ship's wheel. I have no idea. But over the years, they just slipped into that dimension that lost things go to, and you never see them again. But in any event, I'll try to give like a history of this particular Haunted Hulk, and then I'll talk, about the maybe the market and what's been sold in the past and stuff like that. Uh, Let me just say that the Haunted Hulk is my favorite monster toy, and this one was bought for me in 1964, and I've had this hull all that time, and these monsters, and a lot of other monsters. But the this shade of purple on this executioner and this vampire, it's kind of a grayish purple. That never really came up again that I know of. I believe that was only on the first issues of the Weird Monsters. And when the Haunted Hulk was sold new, it was in a big decorated window box, beautiful thing with great graphics, and it was $2.98, I believe. And it only came with 2 of the monsters because even though this sale is marked 1963, these might not have actually gone on sale until 64 because the majority of their little play sets and the carded Unbreakable Weird Monsters and all that came out in 1964. So I think that's pretty much when all this stuff was on sale. Uh, anyway, uh, as I remember, we were. My dad was in radio, and we moved around some in those days. And I think we lived in Athens, Georgia at that point. And I have very faint memories. It was either a grocery store or a big drugstore, probably a grocery store. In those days, there were high-end toys at grocery stores, not like it is now. They'd put them up on top of the aisles where the kids couldn't actually reach them, but they could see them up there, and the parents could buy them. And I begged my mom for that, and $2.98 plus tax, which really wasn't much tax back then, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 cents or whatever. It was probably $3. But, she was really good to me, and that was a fortune to us. I mean, we were poor. My dad didn't make much in radio, and my mom had not started working at that point. She was still kind of taking care of me. But anyway, she bought this for me, and so I went ahead and I played with it and enjoyed it, and it burned itself into my mind. And then as the years went by, I kind of looked for Haunted Hulks. I mean, I had this green hull all that time, and it's got a little bit of scuffing on the edges, but it's in pretty good condition. There's no tears or holes or anything like that. And, I was thinking, man, I still remember those other pieces. I'd like to get them back. So in the 90s, when I started actually kind of collecting monster toys again and, trying to display stuff on shelves, like Marx Monsters and Palmer Monsters and the other MPC monsters, you know, the pop tops and the weirds and all that. I had all that stuff on shelves, and I used this hull as like a base to display my weird monsters on. And then, you know, got into eBay in the early 2000s and started doing safe searches on eBay for MPC Haunted Hulk and MPC Monster Pirate Ship and what, you know, different wordings just to try to catch a listing. Probably around, I don't know, maybe 2008, maybe as early as 2007, I started saving searches. And it took a while for anything to come up. On the average, when something doesn't come up for a year or two at all on eBay, you know it's scarce. And it was like a couple, 3 years before anything popped up. And then I noticed that the parts were just those parts were never for sale. A handful of original Haunted Hulks came up, and they were usually missing pieces. And it seemed like there was no knowledge of this stuff back then. Nobody knew what what pieces even went on a Haunted Hulk. Uh, I mean, in an article in the 2003 issue of Playset magazine, I think number 11, it covered you know, the Mark's playset, the monster playset that never was produced, and they had a one-page article on the Haunted Hulk in that issue, and they just had the sale on it. They at that point they didn't even know there was a spiderweb rigging or skull standard or anything. They thought it was complete at that because nobody knew. Nobody knew anything about this stuff. Even people that were supposed to know didn't know. So anyway, I kept an eye on eBay, and I'd say like maybe two, maybe three original Haunted Hulks came up between 2008 or so and 2013. And they were in bad disrepair, and most of them were missing stickers, and they looked like crap, and they still sold for like $600 or $700 a piece. So in 2013, you know, I had put an ad in this website I used to post on, and this toy dealer used to post on there too, and he had a lot of different stuff, and he actually had those pieces. He had the sale with the stickers, and the spider web rigging, and the skull standard, which is that, and the ship's wheel, which was in green, which is the original Haunted Hulk's ship's wheel was in the green color, just like the hull. And he wanted $350 for them. And that, yeah, that was a lot of money to me back then, just like it is now. But then I was I kept thinking, man, I might go the rest of my life and never see these things again. This might be my only chance to actually complete this thing. And as luck would have it, in 2013, somebody put a listing on eBay with just those parts, not the ship's wheel, but these exact parts, that sail, that spiderweb rigging, and that skull standard right there. And they're all in nice shape. The sail did not have stickers on it. But I thought, man, that is awesome. And it had a minimum bid of $150. And I waited until toward the end of the auction, you know, to make it look like that nobody was interested. And then I placed a bid in there. I didn't have a huge amount of money. I think it was like $200 I bid on it, just over, probably like 213 or something like that. And nobody else bid on it because this toy is so scarce and so few people know about it. The handful of people that would pay a huge amount of money for it usually don't see those listings. That's why you put them on buy it nows that last a long time and give people a chance to actually see it, you know. But anyway, I won that, and I got those three pieces, and I more or less completed the Haunted Hulk, but I needed the stickers. And look, the original stickers from every Haunted Hulk I have ever seen, which is like probably 5 or 6 different ones on eBay over the years, and maybe another 3 different ones in pictures on websites And some of those might have been duplicates, I don't know, but every single one, the original stickers did, they just looked bad. They were yellowed, and most of them were half torn off, and they had bad condition problems on the stickers because they're paper. And paper does not age well, especially on a bathtub toy. So I don't think any Haunted Hulk survived with really nice looking stickers. So I saw this guy on eBay was selling these repro stickers for Fireball XL5 toys and some other stuff. And I sent him a message and I asked him if he would consider making Haunted Hulk stickers, that I'd certainly be willing to buy them, and I have a Haunted Hulk sale original, so I could provide him with the measurements, to be exact about it. It's the eBay seller is YKO Studios. Guy's named John Olson, real nice guy. And he said, yeah, that sounds great. So I sent him the information about the measurements and all that. And I said, I'm not sure if it's glossy or matte that I need, because, I was a little kid back when I saw these stickers originally, and I don't remember. And he seemed to think the glossy would be more appropriate. So I was kind of on the fence about it. So to pay me back for my trouble about sending him the measurements, he mailed me a set of both stickers, actually two sets, one in the glossy and one in the matte. And I put the glossies on the sale, and those are the ones still on there. That was 2013 that I put those on there, and those still look great. I mean, that looks, I'm all for original everything within reason, but when it comes to paper like that, stickers, and if it makes it look that much better, I'll forego the original everything and go for really, really nice looking repros that display the toy so much better. Okay, I was set. I had my stickers, I had my parts, I just needed a ship's wheel. And to find an original green MPC pirate ship's wheel, you just about have to find an original Haunted Hulk, because for all the different colors they made for their pirate ships, they made red wheels, reddish brown wheels, blue wheels. But as far as I know, the green was only available on the Haunted Hulk. So, well, what I did was I finally found, an NPC pirate ship that I could get for a pretty good deal, and so I just used the wheel off of that, and that's the reddish wheel that's right there right now. And it's the exact same part made from the same mold as the Haunted Hulk wheel, but it's just a different color. So, and I would like to have an original green one. I mean, that'd be super cool to have the original Haunted Hulk wheel. But that red one actually looks pretty good in contrast against the green hull, so I'm pretty happy with that. So, I was satisfied with it, so it was a done deal. I finally finished the Haunted Hulk that way. And the other set of stickers I used on that custom haunted graveyard playset that I made a couple videos about earlier. And also, let me give you a little background on the market and just how scarce the Haunted Hulk really is. Okay, a couple of them came up between like 2008 and 2013, and like I said, they were in pretty bad condition and missing parts, and they still sold for around $600 or $700. In 2013, I finished this one, and then I think the year or two after that, another Haunted Hulk came up, and it sold for like around $750. It was fairly decent, They, in general, the really nice ones are the ones that look nicer than the others that were really screwed up. Generally brought around $750, $800. And then in 2017, actually it was right before Christmas in 2016, a boxed one came up, and the box was in pretty bad shape. It was dirty on the inside. The cellophane was torn off one end, and the ship, you could tell the ship had been removed and put back in there, and I didn't even know if it was the same ship, and the ship wasn't in great shape, and the guy had the parts wrong on it that weren't lined up on the proper pegs, and the wheel was was met. It was just a really poor listing. The guy ended up getting $1,300 out of that boxed Haunted Hulk, and it did not display well. Now, somebody that knew what they were doing could fix that up and make it display pretty well. And 1,300, you know, whoever bought that, if they knew how to get it looking good, they got a pretty good deal there. And as luck would have it, really soon after that, early the next year, another boxed one came up, and it was in really bad shape. The cello was torn, and the box was damaged, and the ship wasn't up to par, and you know, in general, it was just a really low grade example of Haunted Hulk, and that sold for about $2,000. He had to buy it now for like $1,999, and a minimum bid for like 1,000 or whatever, and somebody knew that that was so rare that they didn't want to fight other people over it in an auction, so they just went ahead and gave the $2,000 for it. And so anyway, that was so weird. Within months, 2 box versions came up, and that was in 2017. That one sold. Only one other one came up after that I remember. In 2020, one came up on eBay, and it had a minimum bid of $699, and it was in halfway decent shape. I mean, you know, the stickers were kind of ugly looking, like all the old original paper stickers are going to look. I think it was complete, though. It had all the parts. It was just that it had some condition issues. And somebody bid on it. Somebody bid the $699 for the minimum bid. And then it was taken down because, you know, the reason given was that it was either lost or broken. So what happened was somebody had brokered a deal outside of eBay on that thing. And who knows what they gave for it. But, you know, with all that information in mind, I mean, a couple of years ago, I would have thought that fair market value on a really nice one might have been around $1,000. You know, a loose one might be around $1,000. But as crazy as collectible prices have been going on some of the high end stuff, you know, I think it might be more than that now. As far as I'm concerned, this is not for sale. I would never sell this. This has sentimental value to me above and beyond, so I would never sell it for any price. I'm just putting out this information for anyone who might either be in the market for one or have just stumble across this really rare monster toy and want to sell it. What, you know, just some ballpark figures of what they might expect to get for it. And as far as fair market value on a boxed one, I mean, just one with a crappy beat up box ought to be worth at least $2,000. You know, if the ship was complete and in decent shape, and the box wasn't too awful bad, you know, $2,000 to $3,000. Now, if you could ever find one that's legitimately still sealed in a really nice box, you know, I would think that $5,000 for something like that would be a fair market value, because these are just so hard to find. I mean, like I said, only a handful of them have come up since I've been watching eBay for this stuff for the last like 14 years or whatever. And everything goes through eBay. If something don't come up on eBay for a real long time, you know it's scarce, and you know, could be even rare, according to Overstreet. I forget. I think it's like less than 20 existing or something like that. But I know that the Haunted Hulk is extremely scarce, especially in nice condition, complete. So that's the background on the Haunted Hulk. Also, another thing I noticed, a lot of people were making fake Haunted Hulks because so little was known about them. It was the main thing that was known was that they're cool, and a lot of monster collectors wanted one for their collection, and they were expensive. And a lot of crooks were making fake Haunted Hulks, like making them counterfeit or whatever out of MPC pirate ships, and trying to pass them off as real ones and charge ridiculous sums for them. And then on the other hand, you had the people that wanted to make the custom Haunted Hulks and came clean about them not being original, but they were just like an homage to the original Haunted Hulk. And I made one of those. Here it is. I call that the Ghost Galleon after a horror movie that I like. And you know, I added these skulls to it, and this skull figurehead for the front there, and as an homage to the spiderweb rigging on the original Haunted Hulk, I added a giant spider with a real web up there, and you know, it's a I'm hoping, you know, I kind of captured the ambiance of the original. But if you get your hands on an MPC pirate ship, you can actually make an homage Haunted Hulk that looks pretty good, you know. Now, this one has all the original MPC Weird Monsters on it, just like my Haunted Hulk does. And, you know, they display pretty well together. Of course, the Haunted Hulk is legit, and it's worth a lot of money, and this really doesn't have any market value per se. I mean, just whatever somebody'd give for something like that, you know. But I like it, you know. Like I said, none of this stuff's for sale anyway. It's just for fun. So there you go. I was in the mood to expound on my favorite monster toy, and I did. Hope I didn't bore you guys too badly with that. I know there are probably a handful of people out there that will eventually see this video that will think, holy crap, somebody's got a Haunted Hulk talking about it. I mean, I've been looking for that for years on YouTube and just on the internet in general. It never happened. It's like this toy just dropped off the face of the earth and nobody knows about it now. But anyway, there you go. MPC Haunted Hulk. I have run off at the mouth long enough about it. See you guys next time with some more monster stuff.